Welcome back, everyone. Oh my goodness, my heart is still racing from the latest General Hospital weekly promo for the week of August 24th. I have been watching this show for so long, and every now and then a storyline comes along that completely pulls the rug right out from under us. When I saw the teaser trailer for next week, I actually gasped out loud in my living room. We are looking at a situation that is so dangerous, so reckless, and so fraught with terrible consequences that I can hardly sit still. We need to talk about Drew Cain, Ava Jerome, and the absolute disaster they are cooking up for Jack Brennan. It feels like we are standing on the edge of a massive cliff, just waiting for someone to take that fateful step over the edge, and my nerves are completely shot just thinking about it. The scene is set at the Metro Court, a place where we have seen so many sneaky deals and whispered threats over the years. The promo shows Drew leaning in, looking so intense and desperate, telling Ava that he needs her to keep Brennan occupied. And then the camera cuts to that classic, heart-stopping soap opera visual, a woman's hand secretly slipping a drug into someone's drink. I felt a chill go right down my spine when I saw that powder dissolve into the glass. We all know that whenever someone decides to play pharmacist at the Metro Court Bar, things go horribly, tragically wrong. Ava Jerome is no stranger to crossing the line, but seeing her team up with Drew for this kind of dark ambush just feels like they are opening Pandora's box. I am so worried about where this is leading, and I just know you are feeling that exact same knot in your stomach. To really understand why Drew is resorting to such extreme villainous measures, we have to look back at the absolute nightmare he has been living through. My heart has ached for Drew in so many ways, but right now, his anger is blinding him. He is completely trapped under Brennan's thumb because the WSB director is holding some incredibly damaging blackmail material over his head. Brennan has hard evidence regarding Drew's illegal congressional campaign, and he is using it to force Drew into a corner. For a man like Drew, who prides himself on control and power, being someone else's puppet is a fate worse than death. You can see the frustration boiling over in his eyes every time Brennan is in the room. He is a desperate man, and as my grandmother used to say, a desperate man is a dangerous man. He is willing to risk absolutely everything to get his life back, even if it means crossing lines he swore he never would. But the blackmail is only half the story, and this is where the emotions run so incredibly deep for me. We cannot forget the sheer trauma Drew has endured recently. Willow actually shot him. An act that plunged him into the absolute hell of locked-in syndrome. Can you even imagine the psychological torture of being trapped inside your own body, unable to move or speak, while the world moves on around you? Drew miraculously recovered, but the emotional scars are still so raw and bleeding. And yet, because of Brennan's blackmail, Drew has been forced to keep his mouth shut about what Willow did to him. He has had to swallow his rage, smile through the pain, and let Willow walk free while he suffers in silence. It is a toxic, festering anger that has been eating him alive from the inside out, and I just knew he was biding his time, waiting for the perfect moment to strike back and make her pay. This brings us to this incredibly risky hotel room heist. Drew's plan is as clear as day, yet so incredibly foolish. While Ava is downstairs batting her eyelashes and keeping Brennan distracted with a spiked drink, Drew is planning to completely tear apart Brennan's hotel room. He is desperately hoping to find that physical evidence, that golden ticket of blackmail material that Brennan has hidden away. I can just picture the scene now. Drew frantically tearing through drawers, checking behind paintings, his heart hammering in his chest, terrified that Brennan might walk through that door at any second. It is the kind of high-stakes suspense that makes us grip the edge of our seats and yell at the television screen. But what Drew does not realize is that he is playing a game of chess with a master spy, and he is completely underestimating the consequences of his actions. Let us take a moment to talk about Ava Jerome's role in all of this, because I am just so fascinated by her choices lately. Ava is a survivor, a woman who always looks out for number one, so why on earth is she risking her own neck to help Drew drug a WSB director? Ava loves the thrill of the game, and she certainly knows how to hold her own in a dangerous situation, but teaming up with a volatile Drew feels like a massive miscalculation on her part. Maybe she sees an opportunity to gain leverage over Drew, or maybe she just cannot resist the pull of a dark, twisted scheme. Whatever her reasons, watching her slip that drug into Brennan's drink gave me such a profound sense of dread. She is playing with fire, and I have this terrible, sinking feeling that she is going to get burned right alongside Drew when this whole thing inevitably blows up in their faces. This is where my heart truly starts to break, and where the story takes a turn from a sneaky heist into an absolute tragedy. Drew and Ava might think they are just giving Brennan a mild sedative, just enough to make him drowsy or knock him out for an hour so Drew can search the room. But they are completely ignoring one massive, glaring medical reality. Brennan's body has just recently recovered from the trauma of being locked in his own physical state. His nervous system, his brain chemistry, his entire physiological makeup has been through an unimaginable ordeal. You cannot just slip a powerful narcotic into the drink of a man who has recently suffered that kind of severe neurological trauma and expect him to just take a little nap. It is so incredibly reckless, and it shows just how blinded Drew is by his need for revenge. He is not thinking about the human life at stake. He is only thinking about saving his own skin. I am terrified of what is going to happen when that drug hits Brennan's bloodstream. We are not talking about a simple fainting spell here. What if the drug Ava uses triggers a massive, horrific chemical reaction in his body? Given his recent medical history, that sedative could shock his fragile nervous system, sending him into a catastrophic overdose. I can vividly imagine the horrifying scene at the Metro Court. Brennan suddenly gasping for air, clutching his chest, his eyes rolling back as his body completely betrays him. The sheer panic that will ensue, the frantic calls for an ambulance, Ava standing there realizing that she may have just committed murder in the middle of a crowded restaurant. It is the kind of dramatic, life-altering moment that General Hospital does so well, but it is also so deeply upsetting to watch a character we have grown to care about be brought down in such a senseless, cowardly way. If Brennan survives that initial collapse, I fear we are looking at a long, agonizing medical crisis. He could be rushed to General Hospital, completely unresponsive, slipping into a deep, dark coma. Just imagine the heartbreaking scenes in the ICU. The machines beeping, the ventilator breathing for him, while the doctors stand around shaking their heads, unable to predict if he will ever wake up. For weeks, or even months, Brennan could just be lying there, fighting a silent battle for his life. And the worst part is the emotional whiplash we, as the audience, are going to suffer. We will have days where a slight twitch of his hand gives us so much hope, only to have his monitors start blaring the next day as he crashes again. It is going to be an emotional roller coaster of the highest order, and I am already tearing up just thinking about the pain of watching him slowly slip away. Now, we have to address the elephant in the room, and it is a reality that is making my heart incredibly heavy. The soap opera rumor mill has been buzzing for weeks, and sources are confirming that Jack Brennan is scheduled to exit the canvas this fall, with rumors swirling that another character will step in to take his place. Knowing that his departure is imminent casts this entire drugging storyline in a terrifying new light. Is this how we lose him? Is this botched, desperate ambush by Drew and Ava going to be the catalyst for Brennan's tragic death? It feels so deeply unfair. Brennan is a man of action, a brilliant WSB director who has faced down international terrorists and criminal masterminds. To think that his life could be ended not in a blaze of glory, but because someone slipped a pill into his scotch at a local hotel bar is just a devastating, bitter pill for us fans to swallow. If Brennan actually dies from this, we have to talk about what this means for Drew Kane's soul. I have rooted for Drew for so long. He was the good guy, the honorable Navy SEAL, the man who always tried to do the right thing. But if his reckless scheme results in Brennan's death, Drew will have crossed a line from which he can never, ever return. He will be a murderer. Even if he did not intend for the drug to be lethal, his actions directly caused a man's death. How will he look at himself in the mirror? How will he look at his daughter, Scout, knowing that his hands are covered in blood? The guilt is going to eat him alive, and we are going to watch a good man completely unravel under the weight of his own terrible sins. This is the stuff of classic Shakespearean tragedy, and while it makes for incredible television, it breaks my heart to see Drew fall so far from grace. You know exactly what happens next in Port Charles when a crime like this goes wrong. The cover-up is always worse than the crime itself. Drew and Ava are going to be bound together by this horrific, deadly secret. They will have to lie to the police, lie to their families, and look everyone in the eye while pretending they had nothing to do with Brennan's sudden medical emergency. The paranoia is going to be absolutely suffocating. Every time Harrison Chase or Anna Devane walks into the room, Drew and Ava are going to freeze, wondering if the police have finally found the security footage or if they found a trace of the drug in Brennan's toxicology report. The stress of maintaining that lie is going to turn Drew and Ava against each other. There is no honor among thieves. And when the walls start closing in, you just know they will be ready to throw each other to the wolves to save themselves. We also cannot forget the massive ripple effects this will have on the other women in Brennan's life, particularly Nina Reeves. Brennan has been bending over backwards, risking his own career and safety just to protect Nina and her stubborn daughter, Willow. Nina has come to rely on Brennan's strength and his absolute loyalty. If she finds out that he is lying in a hospital bed, hovering near death, she is going to be absolutely inconsolable. And imagine the twisted irony if she ever discovers that it was Drew, the man who was blackmailing them, the man Willow shot, who caused this tragedy. The guilt that Willow will feel, knowing that her initial crime of shooting Drew set off this entire horrific chain of events, is going to be utterly crushing. It is a web of guilt, secrets, and pain that is going to entangle half the town.